What's going on, everybody? This is Sean of Raw Select Music. Today I want to talk about this compilation right here. This is Luke Vibert's Nuggets Volume 3, released on Low Recordings in 2013. A compilation that collects music from the Bruton Library Music record label from the late 70s and early 80s. I really am not sure what possessed me to pick this up. I was digging around online on one of my favorite Japanese record stores, Jet Set, by the way, Shop Jet Set, and I ran across a copy of it and thought, what the hell, I might as well pick it up and give it a listen. I was curious about Luke Vibert's previous two Nuggets releases that came out way before this one, and this was the only one that was available, and plus I was interested in getting some more library music into my collection, and I figured a compilation like this was right up my alley. So over the last few weeks, I've been giving this record quite a few listens, and as such, I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions of this guy with you, and let you know if it's worth checking out. So with that being said, let's talk about this guy. So as I stated in the introduction, the tracks on this compilation are all pulled from a library music label called Bruton Music that released music through the late 70s to the early 80s. And one through line I noticed through the selections on here is it's a lot more synth-oriented than a lot of the stuff that I usually associate with library music. In general, a lot, especially late 60s, early 70s stuff, a lot more string-laden, but still has that sort of jazz, funk, rock vibe to it. And some of that is definitely present on here, with some of the tracks having a bit more of that rock funk edge with a little bit of the sort of soul and jazz that I associate with some of my favorite library releases. But the majority of stuff on here is very much of its time. So you get a lot of synth arpeggios, you get a lot of synth choruses, a lot more drum machines on here. And I gotta say, this is an incredibly eclectic listen. There's so many different styles on here that all feel very futuristic for its time, and you know, going back and listening to it now, it definitely has a little bit of a kitsch, nostalgic, old school feel to it that I am absolutely totally into. And speaking of totally into, I absolutely love this compilation. So many great tracks, so many obvious samples that you've definitely heard before, and just so many inspired tunes. Some of the tracks on here are just short little themes, but there's so much musical creativity in those little themes that it just makes it an inspiring joy to listen to. Some of the tracks are a bit wacky, some of the tracks are pretty loose and pretty fun, and overall there's just a playfulness that I don't usually get with some of the more really serious sounding library music. It's honestly just sort of a musical joy to listen to. And if you're like me, and one of the reasons you're into library music is you want interesting arrangements, tons of drum breaks, tons of samples and loops, and just a whole host of interesting sounds. This thing has everything that you're looking for, all in a nice, convenient little package. It kind of checks all the little boxes for me when it comes to stuff like this. You get little bits of funk, jazz, soul, rock, a little bit of disco, a little bit of electro, a little bit of ambient, and just it's all sort of mixed together and presented so incredibly well, and it's sequenced so incredibly well that it's a great listen to all the way through. It's just a celebration of interesting, unique music, whole lot of adjectives in there. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's a great compilation that sadly I wish went a little bit more in depth in terms of how it was put together, the thought process and stuff like that. But when you've got a selection of super dope tracks like the ones on here, it may not be this amazing document telling you all about the Bruton record label. It definitely works as a great primer to it, and it'll definitely inspire you to want to look more into it. So all I gotta say is, if you ever run across a copy of Luke Vibert's Nuggets Volume 3, and I would assume if the previous two volumes are of this quality, you should probably pick those up too. But yeah, I absolutely love this record, and it comes with my highest recommendation. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching. If you've heard of the Bruton music label, let me know what some of your favorite artists are. If you've listened to this compilation, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. If you want to hear some tracks from this compilation, head over to my WordPress. There you can check out music from any of the records that I talk about on this channel, and make sure that you're here for Live from the Record Room, my vinyl-only DJ live stream that I do here every Sunday, 2 p.m. or 8 p.m. Japan Standard Time. Follow me on Twitter so that way you know when I'm going live, and there you can hear me play records like the ones that I talk about on this channel, as well as a whole host of other records that I don't get a chance to talk about in these videos. Links to everything, as always, down in the description. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. So until then, peace out!